Hey YouTube, I'm stripping this slide today with some citrus strip that I've had for, I don't know, 5 years. Tried to use it once on my Corporation 50 bell and it did nothing. So I'm trying it on this. This is a 2000 slide. These have way weaker lacquer than modern, or not modern, but older horns. Usually this stuff will come off in just hot water. So we're gonna see if this works. Basically what I do is shake this up. I'm just dipping a paintbrush straight into the bottle. You're supposed to put it in a dish. And then you paint it on whatever you want to strip, and then you let it sit. So far it's been, I don't know, 45 minutes or something like that. And I'm going to see very soon if it has worked. So off camera, I just scraped at a little spot where the lacquer was already missing. There's like little spots all over the side where it's already come off. And I think some lacquer did just come off. I'm not going to scrape it off with this. Obviously, that would just leave scratches everywhere. I'm going to try and use shop towels here and see how much of it will come off easily. Because usually, it just peels right off, this 2000s lacquer. Fingers crossed. So, I don't think I got all the lacquer off, but the citrus strip had a weird effect in making the lacquer less shiny. It almost looks like it took it off in some spots. The weird thing, of course, about when you take lacquer off is the spots that were already unlacquered, like this right here, are going to look less shiny than the stuff that had lacquer on it. The brass under the lacquer is going to be perfectly shiny and good looking, but I can feel a difference between the two things with my fingernail, like there's still a layer of lacquer here. So who knows? I don't think it came off. Citrus strip is pretty tame, and I don't think it had enough strength to take this stuff off, at least in the 45 minutes or whatever that I left it sitting. So failure for now, but that's okay. Remember, if you're going to do this, be safe about it. I wear gloves. I'm doing this outside. Plenty of ventilation here, so don't kill yourself doing this. I'm going to try something stronger next time. All right, YouTube, I'm back. I'm going to see what hot water can do that citrus strip cannot. I just poured some really hot water in this bowl. I'm going to let the slide sit, just the crook and the end of the slide, in there for a while. Hey, cat. All right, about 10 minutes. Let's see if anything's come off. I'm not seeing a result. We'll let it sit for a little bit longer. This is pretty hot water. It's not super hot, but honestly does not take much with this Bock lacquer. I have cleaned a friend's slide. He had a 2000s Bock, pretty similar to this, and I put it in a bathtub with a bunch of other slides. Came back later, and his slide was completely unlacquered. The other slides were fine. They're like Yamahas and stuff. His had no lacquer on it afterwards. Sorry, Patrick. All right, checking again. Hey, cat. Been in there for a while longer. Let's see. Just kind of scraping it with a fingernail because it should make stuff come off. Checking it up close. Ooh, I see lacquer. Hey, cat. You're not going to see it because of the cat, but there's lacquer floating on the surface of the water. This has worked, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've gotten some of the lacquer to come off. Yes. So again, hard to see, but I'm literally scraping this off with my fingernail. And it is, it's easier to start from spots where there's no lacquer already. But it just kind of scrapes until it gets to the spot where the water hasn't touched. And it eventually comes off. And I think you can see maybe a little bit here floating in the water. Nope, that's a bubble. Oh, nope, that's lacquer that's come off. So the water has worked. I'm going to let it sit longer and make sure more of it actually does come off. So kind of the last step here is I'm going to use this more abrasive, like, dish cleaning thing. I'm going to try and remove more of the lacquer, and this shouldn't do too much to the brass underneath. Hopefully that's the last thing I have to do with this, and it'll just have no lacquer. Hey, kitty. Yeah. So you can see right here, I have the line between not lacquered and lacquered. You can see the lacquer right here actually physically peeling away from the instrument. I just need a little bit of abrasion to really get this stuff off, because it's not just going to come off by itself. Isn't that right, little cat? So again, hard to see, But the crook is basically delacquered. As far as I can tell, I think the lower parts of these tubes are also delacquered. Oh, here's some more coming off right here. A little bit on my fingers. Anyway, I'm going to brass polish this stuff so it's very obvious what is lacquered and what's not. Like I said earlier, the shiny parts are still going to be shiny even though the lacquer's off because it's still just brand new brass. There's a big old piece of lacquer right there. It's still brand new brass underneath that. So the dirty spots are still going to look dirty and the clean spots are still going to look clean until I go over all of it. Again, this is way easier if you have a bathtub. I actually don't have a bathtub, so I can't do the entire horn this way. I'm probably going to get something more aggressive. Oop, there's some more. And do the rest of this slide and maybe some other stuff in the future. But this is a primer for Bock lacquer. I will point out the Bock lacquer is not, chemically unsafe or anything. The reason it comes off so easily is because it is so chemically safe. They had to change the formulas to adhere to EPA regulations, and because of that, it's way easier to get on and off. Isn't that right, Kat?